Look at the screen. Look at your phone. You touch it, it feels solid, heavy, real. Your exhaustion feels just as heavy, doesn't it? That crushing weight in your chest when your alarm goes off at 6 a.m., the endless race to secure a future that keeps shifting like sand. But what if I told you that according to the bleeding edge of quantum mechanics and a 2,500-year-old Eastern code, that phone, that desk, and even the burnout you are feeling do not actually exist? It sounds like a cheap sci-fi trope, a line ripped straight out of the Matrix. We all remember the scene. The bald child looks at Neo and says, "There is no spoon. We treated it as Hollywood entertainment." But in my years of stripping away the dogmatic layers of ancient philosophy and looking at reality through the lens of modern behavior, I stumbled upon a terrifying, liberating truth. The universe is a glitch. The comfort you are desperately chasing is the very cage keeping you tired. We are overworked because we are trying to fix a solid world that is inherently empty. Think about the famous double-slit experiment. When physicists fired electrons through two slits, the particles acted like waves of pure probability existing everywhere and nowhere at once. They only collapsed into solid reality the exact moment a conscious observer looked at them. The ancient sage Nagarjuna called this shunyata, emptiness. Not nothingness, but a lack of inherent, independent existence. Your anxiety is only solid because your flawed mind operating system keeps observing it, measuring it, and giving it permission to drain your soul. Stay with me until the final minute of this report, because we are going to dismantle the matrix of your mind, debug your karmic algorithm, and prove that the entity you think is suffering is just an unobserved wave waiting to be set free.
Let's get real for a moment. You know that exact feeling at 11 p.m. You are exhausted. Your eyes burn, your lower back aches from a 9 to 5 that demands your soul, and yet you can't put the phone down. You are lying in bed, doom scrolling through TikTok or opening Netflix, not even watching the show, just staring at the thumbnails. You tell yourself you are unwinding. You tell yourself you deserve this little pocket of comfort. But deep down, in that quiet, terrifying space between the swipes, you know the truth. You are not resting. You are just running a different background app on an already crashing operating system. I used to live inside that exact loop. I spent years grinding, building digital assets, analyzing metrics, thinking that if I just optimized my life enough, I'd finally earn the right to peace. One night, I found myself standing in front of my kitchen sink at 2 a.m., washing a single mountain of dirty dishes. The water was hot, the soap bubbles were popping, and my mind was racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour about a project deadline. And right there, it hit me. I wasn't actually washing the dishes. My body was on autopilot, but my mind was stuck in a simulated future, fighting ghosts. I looked at the sponge in my hand, and for a split second, the illusion cracked. We treat our anxiety like it's a physical entity, a solid brick we have to carry around. But just like the double slit experiment where the wave only becomes a particle under your gaze, your exhaustion only hardens into reality because you keep feeding it your attention. Your mind is acting like a rogue tech CEO, exploiting your mental bandwidth, treating your consciousness as a monetization feed. You are burning out because you are treating the simulation as a physical law.
Think about the Matrix. Neo didn't bend the spoon by using physical force. He changed his relationship with the code. When you look at your life through the lens of early Buddhist texts, specifically the raw, non-dogmatic teachings on anatta or non-self, you realize something radically liberating. There is no permanent you inside your head suffering from burnout. There is only a stream of temporary data packets, a heavy thought here, a tight sensation in the chest there, a notification ping from Slack. But the operating system, the ego, clings to these data packets and screams, "This is ME, this is MY failure, I am the one who is tired." It's a massive coding error. The ancient historical Buddha wasn't a god sitting on a cloud. He was a man who looked at his own internal monitor and realized the system was looping. He watched his grief, his royal expectations, his human fears, and instead of identifying with them, he saw them as shifting clouds. He realized that if you don't anchor the ship to a storm, the storm just passes over. The Gen Z and millennial tragedy is that we've been conditioned to fix the simulation by buying more things inside the simulation. Better self-help books, faster productivity hacks, expensive meditation retreats. It's like trying to debug a crashed laptop by changing the color of the desktop wallpaper. The ancient code doesn't ask you to fix the spoon. It asks you to realize that the spoon is a temporary projection of consciousness. In the next few minutes, we are going to dive into the darkest part of this internal architecture, the war between your raw awareness and the algorithm of the mind, and we will finally pull the plug on the illusion. Let me tell you about the ultimate cosmic bait and switch. In Eastern mythology, there is an ancient story that perfectly mirrors the hell you are experiencing in your modern capitalist grind. It's the legend of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. This wasn't just a regular monkey. He was an immortal god, possessing unmatched power, capable of leaping thousands of miles through the clouds in a single somersault. He was faster than any algorithm, stronger than any corporate system. One day, fueled by pure, unadulterated ego, Wukong challenged the Buddha himself. He boasted that he could escape to the very edge of the universe, past the limits of existence. He took a massive leap. He flew through the cosmos until he reached the absolute end of reality, where he found 5 massive, towering pink pillars holding up the sky. To prove his absolute victory, to show he had conquered the Matrix, he wrote his name on one of the pillars and left a mark at its base. He flew back, arrogant, proud, convinced he was finally free. But when he landed, the Buddha simply opened his hand. There, written on the base of the Buddha's middle finger, were the exact words Wukong had left at the edge of the cosmos. The Monkey King had never left the palm of the Buddha's hand. This is exactly what you do every single day. You think you are making moves. You quit your job to start a side hustle. You change your city. You download a new mental health tracker. You purchase a high-end wellness subscription. You leap thousands of miles across your personal digital universe, thinking, this is it. This is the move that sets me free from the burnout. But when you land, you realize you are still standing on the exact same layer of anxiety. You didn't escape the loop. You just upgraded the prison cell. Your mind is running a simulated war against itself, and you are funding both sides of the conflict. Why does this happen? Because the entity trying to escape the burnout is the very entity causing it. This is the core software bug. In early Buddhist psychology, the ego is not a solid object. It is an unceasing survival mechanism. It thrives on friction. It needs a problem to solve, an enemy to fight, a metric to optimize. If you don't give it a corporate target, it will turn your own spiritual healing into a corporate target. It will make you feel guilty for not meditating enough or for not being present during your expensive vacation. I've spent countless nights staring at the ceiling, analyzing this internal glitch. I watched my mind stage a coup against my own peace. I realized that when I was fighting my anxiety, the anxiety was actually getting stronger. Quantum mechanics calls this the Zeno effect. The more frequently you observe a quantum system, the more you freeze it in its current state. By constantly checking your internal monitor, asking yourself, am I still tired? Am I still stressed? You are literally locking those heavy particles into solid reality. You are forcing the wave of pure potential to collapse into a concrete wall of exhaustion. The war inside your head is completely rigged. The system wants you to fight, because as long as you are fighting, you are validating the existence of the cage. You are treating the spoon as a solid obstacle instead of a ghost in the machine. But here is where the entire matrix shatters. Here is the secret twist that the algorithms don't want you to decode. Wukong couldn't escape the Buddha's hand not because the hand was a giant prison, but because Wukong and the hand were made of the exact same emptiness. The hunter, the prey, the cage, and the sky are all written in the same cosmic code. And in the next 60 seconds, we are going to learn how to stop fighting the simulation and finally hit the factory reset. Here is the big reveal. The matrix-shattering truth that your mind has spent your entire life hiding from you. Take a deep breath right now and look at the entity that is listening to my voice. You think you are the one trying to fix your life. You think you are the one who is exhausted. But here is the cosmic joke. You are not the doer. The entity you think is working, suffering, and burning out doesn't actually exist. It is nothing more than a localized bundle of memories, social conditioning, and digital data packets that your brain stitched together and labeled as me. When you scream, "I am so tired," you are validating a ghost. You are treating a temporary cloud as if it owns the sky. When I finally understood this, the heavy armor I had been wearing for decades didn't just feel lighter, it completely vanished. I realized that the thoughts passing through my head weren't my thoughts. They were just weather. If a storm passes over your house, you don't run outside and shout, "This is my storm, I must fix it." You sit by the window and watch it pass. But inside our tech-driven echo chambers, we've been trained to own the weather. We look at a passing wave of corporate anxiety and we instantly internalize it, turning a fluid quantum probability into a solid brick of concrete suffering. So how do we debug this software? We don't fight the algorithm. We change the system framework. It's a simple, ancient technique called the observer protocol. The next time your mind begins to redline at 2 a.m., the next time your chest tightens over an unread email, do not try to calm down. Instead, step back. Become the space in which the anxiety occurs. Say to yourself, "Anxiety is passing through, but I am the sky watching it." The moment you observe the thought without identifying with it, the quantum wave collapses back into pure emptiness. The spoon bends because there is no spoon. You don't need to fix your life, Mua. You just need to realize that the one who is tired is nothing but a shadow. Hit the master reset, unlatch your soul from the digital contract, and rest in the boundless, golden emptiness that you have always been.